Howdy, Zen Witch here with another unboxing video. I am unboxing the Tarot today, and specifically the Sacred Circle Tarot. Very pagan-centered deck, beautiful deck. This bag did not come with it. This is a bag that I didn't make the bag, but I embroidered on it. So let's get going. It comes with a full-size book. I'm sure this came in a box, and I ditched the box. I'm going back and forth about saving boxes for these kind of decks. This deck very coolly comes with two blocking cards. One is the Shaman, one is the Lady. How awesome is that they actually give you cards for the purpose of blocking and with wonderful images on them. So, I mean, if you lost the cards of the Shaman and the Lady, you'd have extras, but the backs wouldn't be the same. Here's the backs. We've got a shield, we've got a sword, a wand, and a chalice. And I kind of like that. So, you know, these are the four tools of the craft, that rather than a pentacle, it's a shield. That's a wonderful way to look at what the pentacle is. Okay, so let's go through the Green Man. This was one of the first decks that I came across when the whole Photoshop thing was starting. People were learning what you could do with photographs, and this is a Photoshop deck. So you have a combination of photographs and drawings. Each of the cards has plants, those things, you know, the green shit. Each of the cards has plants on it that are mentioned in the meanings in the book. So there's the Green Man for the Fool. The High Priest, obviously photoshopped guy. And, you know, it's cool to see images of real people, but it almost kind of takes it down a peg from the you know, the mystery and magic that it could be, because they look very ordinary. Then again, maybe that's a really good thing, that magic isn't just, you know, a rarefied realm that you can't get to. It's ordinary too, and real people do it. Sunflowers there. The High Priestess. Sphere and swans and snowdrops at her feet, and a willow branch on top. The Lady. And look at the flowering. She's got branches up here that have bud and flower and fruit on them, so she's all a triple goddess. There's a bee and shells and the cornucopia overflowing with wheat, with corn, as they say in Britain. And there's the Lord. See, he looks kind of funny to me. He just looks like a guy with a blanket wrapped around him. But, you know, whatever. And a badger. He's got a hare and a badger. And that is, I believe, elderberry. I'm not sure. I see oak and butterflies. The Druid with, of course, oak and acorns and a wren at the top. And there are the four tools that you see on the back of the cards on the altar. So the Druid takes the place of the Hierophant. And we have the Lovers dance in the maypole. That's awesome. He looks a little awkward, but, you know, what guy doesn't look awkward when he's dressed like that? And they've got, I'm not sure what that is, but we have the ribbons and the birch pole. The Chariot with a woman driving. I like that. We've got oak that I can see. I'm not sure what that is. Yarrow? Don't know. Let's see if I can find out. The Chariot. Boudica is who that is. White horse, black horse. Woad. That is woad, because that's what her arms are stained with woad. Okay. The Warrior. This takes the place of the Strength card. And she has a badger too. A badger and periwinkles, I think, is that flower. Let me see. I'm not going to look each one of these up, you guys, but, you know. Give me a break. Borage is what that plant is. Okay. The Shaman. So he is the hermit. The Shaman is the hermit. And look at the magic mushrooms. We got magic mushrooms. I can't remember what the pink ones are. We've got ivy. The wheel, no plants here. We've got the 4 symbols. Wheel of Fortune. And the web takes the place of justice. And she's got, I think they said those were hickory nuts, and yew and spider. Sacrifice, that's the Hanged Man. Poppies, cornflowers, berries, wheat. The Death card. I'm surprised there aren't apples, but there are skulls. I love her sickle knife. I have a fabulous sickle knife. I'll show it to you sometime if you're nice. The Underworld. This takes the place of, well, wait. Okay, so we have death. So this is traditionally temperance. And instead of temperance, we have the Underworld. And then this is usually the devil. So he's kind of the devil card. And then we have the Tower, which is usually where the devil card is. And then we have initiation, which is usually where, why can't I think? Where temperance is. No, I'm confused. Okay, so usually it goes death, temperance, the devil, and then the Tower. And instead we have death, the Underworld, the Tower, and then initiation. Okay. Again, hazelnuts. The Star with rowan berries and periwinkles. The Moon, irises and moths and bats. I really like this. I like the moon image there a lot. The Sun with, ooh, I need to look this up again because I realized that there's a flower that I have been trying to identify that grows on the edge of the woods. And it's St. John's wort. And I have been taking pictures of this flower and trying so hard to figure out what it is. And this is what it is. It's St. John's wort. It grows in our woods. Woohoo! Rebirth. There's the Judgment card. The World Tree in the place of the world or the universe. Then we're into the suits. Creativity. Ace of Wands. Looky, keywords, yay! 2 of Wands is courage, and there's the chalk man on the downs there. Foundation. 3 of Wands. Again, with very recognizable plants and fruits. Development. 4 of Wands. So these aren't as intensive on the image like the photoshopping with people and stuff, but so development, that's an interesting way to look at the wands, because, or the 4, because it usually shows, you know, 2 people building a structure together. And development, yes, development of a creative idea. That's a good way to, I like that keyword. 5 of Wands is grounding. Generally shows that mess, you know, people in conflict and having at each other with wands. So grounding says time to bring it down to earth and make it practical and line them up. 6 is success, the victory card. 7 of Wands is rivalry. Very interesting. 8 of Wands is action. 9 is recovery. And 10 is force. So usually 10 of Wands, we're talking about burden, you know, taking on too much. But here it's just pure force. And, you know, as the culmination of the fire suit here, that makes a lot of sense to me. Keywords also on the court cards. Potential is Page of Wands. Ooh, that's nice. Potential. Knight of Wands is adventure. The Queen is illumination. Look at her fox. And the King is fire. Okay, so it seems to me that we'll see if this plays out in the you know, earth water suits, as the Queen being the actual element itself, as the King is here. All right, then we go into swords, air, intellect in its pure form. What was wands? The first one of the wands. Creativity. Okay, so we have creativity, we have intellect. Here's opposition. That makes a lot of sense for Two of Swords. So again, we are really stepping away from the standard tarot imagery here, but they're doing it in a way that makes a hell of a lot of sense to me. You know, when you're just looking at it first way through, and you know, your brain starts comparing things, especially with the majors. But then when we get into the minors, it's very easy to step into this deck as its own system and take it on its own merits, because I think it has a lot of merit here. This is making a lot of sense to me. Opposition is the Two of Swords. Discord is the Three of Swords. It's nice because it's like not non-symmetrical. Discord. Yep. Rest. Four of Swords. 5 is defeat. And I think everybody has cards in the deck that they don't vibe with, that kind of make you go, I don't really get that card. For me, it's the 5 and the 7 of Swords. Those cards I struggle with. No matter how long I've worked with them, those are the two that I just don't feel the vibe with. But 5 of Swords as defeat, usually I end up saying it's a win-lose. You're looking at things as a win-lose proposition, and the advice is, how do we look at it in another way rather than just as victory and defeat. Okay, solace is the 6 of Swords. Diplomacy is the 7, way different from the 7 in the standard tarot. But I like that. Defeat, solace, diplomacy. There's certainly a path that's being followed here. Bondage, 8 of Swords. So that kind of comes out of left field. Suffering, 9 of Swords. Disillusion is 10 of Swords. And so these, the suit cards really are the next step from just being pip cards. And pip cards are just no images, separate images in the minors. Just if it's a 5 of Pentacles, there's 5 Pentacles or 5 coins or whatever. So disillusion. So there's not a lot to get from the imagery of the minors, which is a really good thing that they have the keywords on them. Thought is Page of Swords. Change, Knight of Swords, so being able to change your mind. Queen of Swords is imagination. And King is air. Can I tell you how disappointed I'm going to be if the queens aren't the elements in these next ones here? But we'll find out. Cups, spirituality. Now see, I'm not sure I would go with that. You know, cups is your emotional body, but let's see where they go with it here. Spirituality, Ace of Cups. We've got, I don't know what that plant is, but it's gorgeous. I want to find out. Wands, I gotta go way back here. Okay. Okay. Ace of Cups. Rose hips. That's what those are. Make your face cave in. Harmony. 2 of Cups. Resolution. 3 of Cups. Discontent. 4. Regret. 5. That's a really good keyword. Wow, that's a really good keyword. Nostalgia for the 6. That's pretty standard. Delusion for the 7th. That's another pretty standard one. Abandonment for 8. Yeah, these are great. These are great keywords. Stability for 9. Good. Reward for 10. Those are excellent. Okay, the Page is reflection. The Knight is movement. The Queen is intuition. And the King is water. Okay, I'm a little sad, but it's okay. Intuition, and he is water. So, I mean, yeah, just making him just the element, I'm not real sure about that for the kings. It sort of steps aside from keywords that are useful and relatable to just, you know, water, fire, whatever. All right, Ace of Discs, there's mistletoe, abundance. 2 of Discs is fluctuation. 3 of discs, dedication. That's very good. 4 of discs, materialism. Excellent. The 5 is restriction. Okay. 6, bounty. 7 is prudence. 8 is skill. 9 is gain. 10 is tradition. The page is health. The knight is husbandry. The queen is expression. And the king is earth. So yeah, the court cards are a little confusing to me. Court cards are always confusing to me. They are my least favorite cards in the deck. There's always a, okay, is this you? Is this somebody else? And, the standard thing of this is a dark-haired man, or, a dark-haired, dark-eyed woman, or a blonde and blue-eyed somebody. That's just, that's just right out. But, I usually will talk about here's what the card means, and then the person immediately identifies whether that's them or someone else, or I'll give them an either or. There's either someone around you that's like this, or this is talking about you. So, I really like the paganizing of this deck. I really love the keywords in this deck. I'm curious. I want to look up one of the kings and see just how they deal with meaning. Like, for instance, between the queen and the king. So, like, Queen of Wands, the card depicts a handsome red-haired woman clad in a flame-colored dress. She's accompanied by her fox familiar, blah, blah, blah. Symbolism represents the stable dimension of the element of fire. Hers is the hearth fire. Divinatory meanings. The fire of the Queen of Wands nourishes and sustains as it inspires. And here, keyword is illumination. Hers is the illumination of faith and vision that comes from within and cannot be dimmed or extinguished by external sources. Just as the hearth fire needs to be fed, so does the flame of the spirit. It calls on you to sustain. So, okay, these are really well written meanings here, because it talks about what the symbolism is, and then this card calls on you to sustain your vision and nurture your spirit. Bang! There you have it. It is time to develop the qualities of independence, creativity, and warmth. I really love the way that's written. Okay, so let's look at that in next to the king. King card shows the Lord of the Powers of Fire, depicted as a regal middle-aged man with auburn hair and gray eyes, robed in crimson and crowned with golden oak leaves, holds a reed scepter, blah, blah, blah. Okay. He represents the Lord of the Powers of Fire. Magically, the element of fire is concerned with creativity, life energy, the spirit, and the strength of the will. It's associated with the direction of the south, the magical tool of the wand, or the blade. Inner sight, vision, and the festival of Cowan? I don't know. It's Celtic. The summer solstice. Fire takes on many forms, from the gentle flicker of the candle flame. At the midsummer solstice, the Oak King. So we go into, okay, that's the symbolism. Divinatory meanings. That's where I mean to be. In this card, we meet the quintessential powers of fire in the guise of the King of Wands. Fire is regarded as the most spiritual of all the elements, with the flame as the material manifestation on the earthly plane of the element itself. With the flame as the material manifestation on the earthly plane of the element of fire. Well, duh. This card calls on you to develop the fiery part of your nature, the part linked to altruism, idealism, warmth of being, impulsiveness, and originality. Most of all, the King of Wands calls on you to learn the lesson of the bull. Bull is a mighty creature of mature masculine vigor and potency, but bull is often a familiar of a leader or high priest. Interesting that it's the bull, because I mean, immediately as an astrologer, I go to the lion as, the fixed fire sign is the lion. The fixed earth sign is the bull. So I'm not, that is kind of confusing to me. But I see where they're going. I see where they're going with it. And they certainly have a path. They certainly have a structure here that makes a lot of sense and is worth taking in its own context. So if you are pagan and you want a deck that's, got the Lord and the Lady big and large in it, and, beautiful colors. I mean, look at the suits there and there and there. I just love the visually very pleasing. It's a chunker. It doesn't fit in the hand very easily for shuffling, but I don't think that ever stopped me. Let's try this. And this is a deck. I have a little story about this one. It ain't even working. In my Tara dance practice, and my teacher of that practice, Prema Dasara, I was at a crossroads and wasn't sure what I was doing, whether I was going to go forward with that practice or, there was just a big question hanging in the air. And I had meant to email her, but there was so much to say. And this was long before Facebook. This was in the early 2000s. And I was at a Theosophical Society meeting one night, and I had these cards, and I was doing a reading after the meeting to see, what do I do about this? And I laid the cards out, and I did my 9-card spread as I usually do, and I wish I hadn't shuffled these so I could show you this card. It was the Queen of Earth, Queen of Coins, smack in the middle of the reading, and the woman in that card looks an awful lot like Prema. And I mean, I was asking specifically about, what do I do? I want to email her. It's too much to say. I was just stressed about it all. And you can see I'm looking for this card, and I'm not going to quit until I find it. Watch her be the last one in the deck. There she is. Oh my gosh. And she showed up right smack in the middle of the reading. And Prema, she looks an awful lot like Prema. And I laid those cards out. I saw her in the middle, and the card was, the reading was saying, you need to communicate. It's time to, work this out and everything. And I said, I wish I could just call her. And this was also before, most people had cell phones, actually, in my family anyhow. And she lives in Hawaii, and I don't. And it was like, I wish I could just talk to her on the phone. And the next day, this is how fast it works, folks. And Tara, this is how fast she works. The next day, the phone rings, my daughter answers it, and the landline phone on the wall, and hands the phone to me and says, it's Prema. And I grabbed the phone and said, you heard me. And she laughed her ass off. So, again, things I tell you guys a lot, magic is real. It works. When you work with the goddess and you ask for things, they deliver. So anyway, really excellent deck. I hope you enjoyed that review. Please like and subscribe and comment below. I will answer your comments. Let me know what decks you would like to see me review, because I'm always keen to buy more if I don't have it already. And set your notifications so you know when the videos drop. New tarot video every Monday, new oracle video every Friday, and lots of good stuff in between. I'm so happy that you're here and that we can spend time together. I hope you're here next time, and I will see you then. This is the Zen Witch. Blessed be.